Hi everybody, welcome to this week's video. So today I'm going to go ahead and talk about the format of the midterm exam that's due this week. There are no other readings this week, it's just the midterm exam, and the exam is going to cover everything that we've done in the class so far. So this includes the Odyssey, this includes the Mahabharata, and it also includes the Bhagavad Gita. Your exam is going to be dispensed using the Canvas quiz format on our class Canvas website, and it's going to be due by Sunday, March the 2nd, 11:59 p.m. So I'm going to also cover the format and the sort of main aspects about the exam so that you guys are comfortable going into it and starting it. The exam is going to be open book. It's you can use your notes for this particular exam. However, you will have a time limit. There is a time limit of 2 hours to complete it. The exam is composed of three different types of questions. This includes multiple choice, this includes short answer, and it also includes long answer. And the long answer type question style is going to be basically passage identification and explanation. So now I'm going to go ahead and basically cover each question format. And I have examples that I have next to each question type. But these examples are not from our world literature exam. They're not from my world literature class at all. I've taken them from my exam for my English literature class, but they're here just to give you an idea of the kind of format of the questions so you have an idea of how to prepare. So the multiple choice questions are pretty straightforward. They will be 2 points each, and you'd basically go ahead and you'd identify the correct answer, and there should only be one correct answer for each question. And the multiple choice questions can cover what happens in the story, right? It can cover literary devices we've talked about in the class, and it can cover religious and cultural concepts that I've covered in my videos. So for the short answer questions, these are going to be about providing context. So the questions will target the literary texts, and I want you to provide additional context for that particular question. These questions will be 5 points each, and it's a good idea to write 2 to 3 sentences per question. 3 sentences tends to be ideal, so I would encourage you to try for that. So, for instance, for a question like, what's the significance of the Magna Carta signed by King John in the year 1215, and say that this question relates to within the English literature course a medieval Robin Hood ballad that we've read together. So you would talk about, the literary for instance, like the literary ballad, you'd mention, Robin Hood, you'd mention his disgust with King John for being a king who's grabbing power, and so you would use, that particular literary scene, to kind of connect that with historical context, which is that this ballad shows you the anxieties and it shows you the feelings within large parts of the English nobility that led to the formation and the signing of the Magna Carta, which limited the power of the king. So, that's the kind of thing I'm looking for here, right? I want for whatever question you're getting, if it's a literary question, connect it to some aspect of the historical or cultural context that my videos have talked about, that you're getting from my videos and applying to the other parts of the story. And again, provide that context in the answer. The long answer questions will take the form of passage identification and explanation, and these will be 8 points per passage. So for these types of questions, I would like you to identify the author and title of the work. I'd like you to explain how the passage represents, exemplifies, or relates to important things like the use of a literary device, the influence of cultural religious concepts, or again, the influence of specific historical or cultural contexts. And so for this type of question, you will be getting a quoted passage from one of the three texts we've read so far. And so I don't want you to just summarize what's happening. I don't want like summary of the passage, I want that kind of providing context, identifying, and analyzing. So, identify the author and title, explain how the passage, give me a summary, one sentence summary of what's happening in the passage, from the story, like what is happening in the story, as it relates to this passage, and then analyze it. Like, what literary device are you seeing? What cultural concept are you seeing? What religious concept are you seeing? What historical context are you seeing? Give me that analysis. So to break it down for you to make it easy, once again, which world literature text is this and who the author is? Summarize in your own words what's happening, what characters are involved, what's the situation or challenge that they're facing. If the quoted passage is a speech, tell me who's saying those words and why this person is saying those words, right? And then connect it to the larger themes we've talked about in class, the cultural, religious, or literary concepts, right? That this scene or passage exemplifies. So I hope this review of the exam was helpful. So here are a couple of study tips that I would like to give you. It's a very good idea to review all of my videos. The content in my videos is going to be extremely helpful to know. I think it's going to be very helpful to know all the literary devices that we've talked about in the class so far. It's a very good idea to know all the cultural and religious concepts that we've talked about in the class so far. And again, my videos should be pretty helpful for that. It's an excellent idea to know the plot of the three main literary texts that we've discussed so far. So understanding what the story, right, the story plot of the Odyssey, the Mahabharata, and the Bhagavad Gita are. And it's also a good idea to know and to be aware of and to review notable scenes and passages from each of the three main literary texts. Some of those scenes and passages I talk about in my videos, and others, you read and connect to in the process of doing the signed readings. So again, think about significant passages that I could possibly ask questions about. So with that, that's the end of my exam review video. Good luck, and until next time.